Okay. Well, let's. All right. We getting anything? Well, this is going to be very, very sketchy because I've never done a live before and not exactly sure what I'm doing. So we're going to debug a lot of things. We're going to test a few things and we're going to see if we can set up a protocol so I can do this more often. Now, the reason why I'm trying to do this down and dirty live stream is because I got a lot of thoughts in my head and I have zero ability to write a script. I have the ability to write a script. I don't have the time to write a script, record it, do some editing, add some graphics. I'm just too busy. And I have so many thoughts in my head that I want to get this going. So we're going to give this a go and see what happens. Now, the reason why I want to do this is specifically because there is a hijab day of rage or the Hamas something going on tomorrow. Now, the Israel Hamas thing is it's all over the news. Okay, we all get that. And the thing is that everyone has an opinion and you got to pick a side and you got to you support Israel or you support Hamas and the Palestinians and I don't care. Literally, I don't care about either one of these groups of people. Are they both purely good? No. Are they both purely evil? Of course not. I'm sure there's a lot of good people on both sides. I'm sure there's a lot of people that get caught up in the mayhem and they're struggling to just survive. And there are, of course, evil people on both sides doing horrible things. I think we can all agree on that. And I'm not picking a team, I'm picking a side, I don't care. But Hamas has issued some kind of a dictate or a warning or a notification that on Friday they're looking for a global event that may or may not include violence. It may or may not include a protest. We're not really sure what it is, but a lot of people are taking it seriously. And the New York, like say NYPD, has called in all their officers in uniform to be on alert in case something happens. And I think something will happen. And the reason why I think it's going to happen is because the day of the attacks, when the Hamas from the Palestinians launched a bunch of rockets into Israel, this happened just a couple of days ago. You saw the Black Lives Matter protests show up in like Chicago and Philly and New York and a lot of blue Democrat run cities. And I was literally shocked by the number of Palestinian flags that were waved in the crowds and we support Palestine and oh, thanks OBS. Let's see if this even works. I just got a disconnect warning. I don't know how this works. Hey, reconnected. Okay, whatever. We're going to keep rolling. Maybe it cut out, maybe it didn't. So all these people in really, is this working or not? I can't tell. Let me refresh. Learning curve. This is going to be rough because I don't know what it's doing. And it doesn't look like it's working. Let me check something real quick. Hang tight for 1 second. All right, it's the audio's working, but the visuals aren't. So you're gonna look at my stale face just standing there and not moving. We'll figure this out tomorrow. But what I want to get to is that Hamas is planning something for tomorrow, and they're planning something on a global scale for their culture, their religion. I'm not exactly sure, so I don't want to put a lot of weight on this. But the people that support Palestine are going to organize in some way and probably create some kind of event. It may or may not be violent. It may or not be protest. It blah 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 blah. I don't know. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it reminded me straight off the bat. It reminded me of a book, and I don't know how many of you guys are deep readers. I know I have one of my big fans is a book zealot, so to speak, and there's a book that jumped to mind. It's from a writer called William Forstchen, and he wrote. He's probably most well known for his series 1 Second After, 1 Day After, the EMP disaster dystopian kind of survival series. But he wrote another book. It's a novella. It's a very, very short piece of work. It's called The Day of Wrath. And if anyone gets a chance to take a look at it or read it, there's an audiobook available. It's probably on YouTube somewhere. The Day of Wrath. And it's kind of a pro-constitutional, pro-2A, little bit of gun porn kind of a book. It's very short. You can read it in 1 day, easy. You can listen to it in, I don't know, I think 45 minutes or something. And it has to do with the fact that there is a bunch of sleeper cells in this country that have been activated, and they start doing violence. Now, this is interesting because okay. It's interesting because the main character is a school teacher, and I'm not going to ruin too much. I won't ruin the book. No spoilers. The main character is a school teacher, and the school has been affected with some type of violence event. And they've made a decree that teachers are no longer allowed to carry weapons, even if you have a concealed permit and even if you're legal, blah, blah, blah. It's no guns allowed, gun-free zone, the whole thing. And the book starts with the protagonist, the main character, saying, no, I won't follow your rules, and I will continue to conceal carry, blah, blah, blah. I understand this is a very controversial point, and I'm not making my opinions on it. I think those of you that know me well enough know my opinion. But the school is targeted by one of these sleeper cells, and they start running through the halls doing what terrorists with the pew pew do. And he's the only one in the school who has the ability to protect himself. So he does. And it unravels in a way that this book unfolds, telling stories from multiple people's point of view, including the sleeper cells. And it's a story of how you need to be prepared and how no one is coming to protect you. And it goes into a little bit of insight of what the oppositional forces are thinking and why they're doing it. Now, this is a great book, and why it's so timely for today is that tomorrow, or today, if you read this, Friday, the 13th, as it turns out, they've called for this Hamas-fueled event. And a lot of people are not aware of what wartime activities look like. It's violent, it's dangerous, you can't talk your way out of it. It's not safe if you find yourself in this position. So you can either have something to protect yourself, or you try to hide in a corner, which usually isn't successful, but that's up for debate for some other time. So the reason why this book sprang to mind is with these sleeper cells embedded in the country is that our southern border is completely and utterly wide open. Now, you talk to the people in immigration and border patrol and whatever, and they're saying, oh, yeah, 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 we get people from Nicaragua and Mexico and Costa Rica and Venezuela and China and Pakistan and Nigeria and South Africa. And the border is so wide open that all of these people can catch a flight to Mexico City and then it's a quick bus ride to the southern border where it's wide open. And you'll hear people like Mayorkas, the Homeland Security Director, whatever the hell his title is. You'll hear him say, "Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. We have people that come in, and oh yeah, sure, we catch some people on the terrorist watch list, and we catch some, and we got like 200 last month and 500 the month before, and oh yeah, this one time we got 600 per month." Well, those are the ones they catch, and the ones they don't catch could be 1,000 a month. It could be 5,000 a month. It could be more. It could be less. I don't know. I can't speculate. But I'll tell you the number is more than one. And if more than one sleeper cell, terrorist, insurgent, whatever you want to call them, gets across the border and they set up camp, and then they build a space that can accept more as they come across the border. Well, this has been going on for 2, 3, 4 years with our current regime. Now, we could, in theory, have several thousand sleeper agents in the country ready to do activities. Now, if you look at the parades and the protests just this week in New York, there were hundreds of people waving Palestine flags going, "We support Palestine, to hell with Israel." Those are the ones that showed up with flags. Those aren't sleeper agents. Those are people that are out, to be honest, they're quite most likely liberal college students that are just supporting current thing. The sleeper agents are not going to come out and wave their flags. They're going to hide in the shadows until they're called upon to do action. So, is something going to happen? Maybe. I mean, it's probably not. I mean, I tell you what, it's probably not going to happen in a small town. Hey, there's a song about that. And it might be prognostic. But anyway, the point is, tomorrow is Friday the 13th. Tomorrow, Hamas has called for a global active event to show support for Palestinians and support against the Israeli movement, government position, occupation. You call it whatever you want. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. I don't care. Don't have a dog in this fight. But it's probably not going to be a peaceful event everywhere. So be alert, be aware, avoid large crowds, and let's see where this goes. This was my first live, so it's probably going to be an absolute disaster. I don't expect anyone to see it live. But if they do, it's great, no problem. I don't see anyone in the chat because it's 1:15 in the morning. And this is the only chance I had to do a thing, so I'm going to do it, and we'll see what happens. Comment, let me know what you think. I'm going to need a lot of help to tune this OBS versus YouTube integration to see what's going on. But we're going to give it a shot. We're going to see what happens. So leave a comment. Give me some thoughts when you see it. And I truly appreciate anyone that drops by to watch this. And thanks, and have a good night.